Okay, so this is a very different style of video than I usually do. I just have a slideshow here I made in like 15 minutes or so because I want to talk about uh, Silksong DLC and what I think will happen. This incorporates a lot of ideas of what other people think and what Team Sherry have said, but I think I have a few unique ideas that I want to record in case any of this actually comes true. So first, this if you've been following it all, you'll know most of this already. But I'll give a little recap. Basically, this backer character that was created for Hollow Knight wasn't in Hollow Knight and now isn't in Silksong, but eventually they have to include him since he was a backer goal on Kickstarter. So here you can see this. This is the interview Team Sherry did with Jason Schreier. You can basically see Sharp is confirmed for the DLC. And further, Sharp is connected to this Steel Society, which we have this Cradle dialogue that talks about the City of Steel, which is probably some sort of home base or their civilization. And we know that that strange Steel Society is again something they might want to explore in the upcoming DLC. They also talk about the size of the project, but more importantly, how do you incorporate the DLC into the world in a way that feels natural, but also finding ways to hide away the access because you don't want a new player just stumbling upon it, maybe. Or you don't want the game to be too gargantuan, right? The game's already so huge. If you keep adding in this big, expansive stuff, eventually it might get bloated. Further, this is Hornet's dialogue. If you try to leave Farloom in Act 3, she basically refuses to. She does the same in Act 1 and 2. So this establishes a few things. Hornet will not leave Farloom during the course of the game, and Team Cherry wants to hide access from these big, expansive DLCs to new players potentially, which is why I think that the DLC for Silksong will be a post-game or one of the DLCs for Silksong will be a post-game exploration of the Steel Society. So after Act 3, after having beaten Lost Lace, there'll be, I believe, some sort of time jump before the DLC. It'll also almost be like an epilogue, completely separate from the base game. And I think there's a few more hints of this. This is Mr. Mushroom's needle in dialogue, if you can't tell, but from Mr. Mushroom Readjust. But he says, "Stone will break and steel shall rust." I think this is one of the only other references to steel in the game. And it's interesting. Here you have the Grow Stone. This is the Steel Soul exclusive content. It's described as a cold, steely stone. And Steel Seer Z describes it as the rock of the home sphere. So this is likely what the City of Steel is built out of. And if it's just steel, we know that steel rusts in this world as well as our own, obviously. But that should tell us that this Steel Society or the City of Steel isn't impervious to falling, even if we know that this world is filled with fallen kingdoms. First Hollow Nest, now Farloom. Eventually, Hornet may bring about the collapse of the civilization, especially if they're particularly evil, the masters in charge. What's here? They say, admittedly, some of the plans, this is again talking about DLC, some of the plans for that stuff are kind of ambitious as well. I think this lends credence to the idea of it being an epilogue, because that's pretty ambitious just to tag on at the end of your already expansive game. A whole new area or kingdom to explore maybe. I don't think it will be quite as big as Farloom, obviously, or even maybe nearly as big, but I think just a few areas really where you're able to explore that. And then closing on again Mr. Mushroom dialogue where he says, maybe in a future far, when your actions might hail me so again. So, this is, I think, kind of direct setup for saying that, again, you had the earlier line from Mr. Mushroom that steel shall rust, and now you're saying that he believes, or it's possible that in the future, Hornet's actions in a kingdom will hail him again. So we know he only came to Farloom because of Act 3, the void leaking out. So Hornet will likely do something grand to this Steel City, or this City of Steel, to hail Mr. Mushroom again, because again, he only comes in these moments of great change. So yeah, I think that's all the evidence I really wanted to talk about. And again, just wanted to get this out there because I think this is very possible and likely to happen. So I want evidence that I was one of the advocates of this idea. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.